Well, hey everybody, my name's Bustin' Jarcia, and I don't even know what Twitter is. I didn't say anything to Jason Anderson after the race. I don't even know what he's talking about. So Jason Anderson kinda took out Barcia in a flat corner on a track that it was impossible to pass on in the heat race, okay? And basically, Jason Anderson posted on Twitter calling Barcia bitch Barcia, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, they posted all that on the actual broadcast of the race. They even said it in the actual the conference post-race interview, which was kind of shocking. They didn't even blur out the word or anything. A little shocked by that, but whatever. But anyways, Barcia basically said in his post-race interview that he doesn't even know what they were talking about. He has no idea. He never even saw the tweet. Yeah, okay, Barcia, okay. I don't even know, bro. I never saw the tweet, bro. I don't know what's going on, bro. We didn't really even talk after the race, dude. Yeah, because Jason Anderson's just going to post that on his Twitter when you didn't say anything to him about the crash in the heat race. Yeah, because Anderson would just post something like that for no reason. Yeah, okay, Barcia. Okay. So anyways, Barcia gets back on the podium and he thinks that he is the Barcia that won those two 250 Supercross titles. You know what I'm saying? It's always cute when, Barcia thinks, hey, Tough Blocks take you out in a heartbeat on this game, boy. It's always cute when Barcia thinks that he's all of a sudden back in the mix again when he's really not. He's never going to win another title. He might not even win another main event again. I don't know. But I can promise you he's not going to win a 450 title. He's just not. But, Barcia tries to act all respectable again when he gets back on the podium finally again. He tries to act like he's one of the boys, like he's one of Tomac or, Webb or Anderson. Meanwhile, he's actually not at all. He's just not. Anderson already has a 450 Supercross title. Okay? So anyways, that all goes down. Barcia acts like they didn't even really talk after the race, which was really bizarre. By the way, this is all after Barcia took out Sexton in the exact same corner, the exact same way that Jason Anderson took out Barcia. Okay? So it's just kind of funny. Barcia's trying to sweep it under the rug. I didn't even complain to Anderson. That's basically what Anderson tweeted about, was that Barcia kind of complained about the takeout in the heat race, and then he goes and does the exact same thing to Chase Sexton in the main event. And then Barcia, of course, since he gets on the podium, he's going to act like, none of that happened, whatever. Anyways, pretty sure Jason Anderson deleted that tweet, which is not good. You definitely need to stick behind anything that you say like that. I will say that, that was a little bizarre seeing Anderson delete that tweet. But he tweeted it for a reason, okay? Barcia was not just, all cool, calm, and collected after the race. There's no way in hell. But anyway, so at the end of the day, what does this come down to? If you're going to be an aggressive rider, you got to be able to take what you dish out. You can't throw stones from a glass house, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like Barcia, of anybody that I have ever seen, can never even remotely say a word about anybody taking him out in any kind of way ever. Barcia is literally that guy that cannot ever say a single word about it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's all it really comes down to. Barcia isn't even allowed to give somebody a dirty look for passing him some sort of dirty way. That is how much Barcia has been overly aggressive and taking people out over the years. I don't just look at any one situation with Barcia, but when you look at it as a whole, and rubbings racing, I'm all about it. But you can't be complaining either. You know what I mean? If you're going to be that kind of rider, then you certainly cannot complain about a single thing. And even Jason Anderson mentioned that in his post. his Twitter post like, neither one of us can talk here, which that was coming from the heart. That's a lot of truth. Anderson is also an aggressive rider, but he is nothing like Barcia. Barcia is on another level when you talk about total career. It's to the point where people can't even hardly pass Barcia anymore without expecting like an instant retaliation, full-blown takeout, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, Rubbings Racing, I'm cool with takeouts and things of that nature. Wasn't it like on the last lap of the heat race too? I'm pretty sure that makes a big difference in my opinion on if it's closer to the end of the race versus the start of the race. And if it's somebody like Barcia, bro, at this point, you just got to be expecting it. For people to, first of all, they're just going to take you out just because you're that kind of guy. You are that guy, not just that kind of guy. You are that guy. That's the thing about Barcia. You know, if there was ever a time where you would say somebody was ever overly aggressive, in my book, you know, if there was ever a guy, Barcia would be that guy when you talk about his whole entire career. Okay? But like Jason Anderson to me is just a really aggressive racer. He's not really a Barcia. There's a difference. There is a difference there, bro. But anyways, at the end of the day, I'm still cool with Barcia taking people out. But again, you have to not only expect anytime you ever get past again, people are going to be trying to take you out. Not only for the reason of like just paying you back, you know what I'm saying? But also for the reason of they're trying to basically take you out because they know you're going to try to instantly retaliate because you think you're way better than you really are on a 450. So then you're going to instantly try to retaliate regardless of who tries to pass you. So that's another reason why people try to pass you that way, Barcia. You can't just be who you are in your career and then all of a sudden you get back on the podium and you want to try to act like one of the boys that tries to, you know, race all clean and, you know, you're just trying to get your results and shit. You can't have it both ways, Barcia. You can't. You just can't, bro. And Barcia tries to do that every time. It's like if he's not on the podium, he's blowout, bam, bam, just like he's always been. He's going to blow you out for no reason, no matter who you are. But the second that he gets back on that podium, not even necessarily a win, but just the second he gets back on that podium, he thinks he's all of a sudden back in the points chase again. And it's like, okay, let me try to be respectable with these guys. You guys remember that when he tried to kind of be like that with, I think, Tomac? That 1 year, like 2 years ago or something like that, and then he went right back into taking everybody out again, and Tomac was just like, you know, this is just like what's to be expected out of Barcia at this point. But Barcia continues to try to be like, I've changed my ways. You know, he only really says that kind of shit when he thinks he's going to be back in the championship hunt because he's good. He realizes he's never going to win a championship, even if he was good enough to potentially win a 450 Supercross championship at this point. He simply wouldn't be able to do it because somebody would take him out. Somebody would, if it came down to that last round, you know, Barcia needed like 2 points or Barcia just needed to do this to win the championship, whoever was in his way would not just give it to him. They wouldn't. Out of all the guys out there, Barcia would be the last guy that anybody would just give it to. So that's why when Barcia thinks he's back in some sort of points chase, or he all of a sudden, even though he never actually stays that way all the way through the season, okay, he's similar to Roxon in that sense. They're a lot better at the first half of the season, and then they go absolutely MIA when you get to the last half of the Supercross season, okay? But anyways, Barcia gets this crazy idea, like when he won all those first rounds, you know, he thinks he's like in the running to win the championship, and he's really not, okay? But then it gets down to the nut cutting, and, you know, Barcia realizes, you know, at the beginning of the season, he tries to be all like, you know, I've changed my ways, I'm trying to, you know, just get up here and get good results and be respectable, and then when he realizes he's not going to win the championship, and he sucks, then he goes back to being Bam Bam Barcia. I don't care about anything. I'm going to take everybody out. So that's kind of the moral of the story on Barcia for the last, like, you know, pretty much ever since he's been on the Honda, you know what I'm saying? That was the last time he ever really had a chance at, like, Supercross, you know? When he was first on that Honda, like, still back in the Villapoto days. That was the last time you were ever going to potentially see, like, a Barcia 450 championship. But it's over at this point. It is over. Trust me, it is over. But at the end of the day, you know, Jason Anderson posted that tweet for a reason. That was definitely not just, you know, let's sing Kumbaya after the Anderson taking out Barcia. Barcia definitely said something. He definitely acted some kind of way, like I'm going to take you back out in the main event, or he complained. He definitely did something for Jason Anderson to post that. But then he goes out there and takes out Chase Sexton the exact same way in the main event. He just happens to get on the podium, so then he wants to act like, oh, nothing really happened. No big deal, guys. You know what I mean? Right. So that's what happened in that situation. You know, Bam Bam is Bam Bam. You guys remember that interview? What was that, from last year, when he was like, y'all should have known. Y'all know who I am. You know, we can't forget that, Barcia. That made you lose a lot of respect from a lot of fans right there, when you're basically like, well, this is just me. This is the way I've always been. Right after all of those years of you saying that you've changed, you become better. You know, you don't want to be taking people out like that. You didn't even want to have the Bam Bam name anymore. But then you came out right after that, like a year later, and you said in the interview, oh, you guys should have known after you took somebody out, you know. You said, you guys should have known that's who I am. That's the way I've always been. You guys should have just known that. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't even know what to say about you anymore, bro, but I don't know. If I ever was remotely a Barcia fan at one point, I'm not really anymore. I just haven't been after that interview when you said all that. It was just kind of like going back on your exact words that you just had. Just really bizarre. So I don't know. Barcia's just in a weird place. Like, the way I feel about Barcia, I can't even really put it into words anymore. It's just bizarre. That's the only kind of way I can explain the way I feel about Barcia at this point. But Anderson did delete the tweet. I don't know if that's because he was thinking, like, you know, this is kind of like trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers, or like this is, you know, Supercross. Some of the guys on there kind of tried to embarrass Anderson a little bit by being like, hey, we're just gonna, you know, talk shit on Twitter and all this stuff. So I'm sure Anderson was just trying not to be looked at as like a let me take it to Twitter kind of thing. But now Anderson's gonna take it to the track. So this will be getting interesting here real soon, you know what I'm saying? Before you can say Bob's your uncle, basically. So we'll see what all goes down with this. But, you know, Barcia cannot ever say a word. If Anderson goes in there and cleans Barcia completely out, I'm talking completely out, then it is what it is. If anybody goes out there and cleans Barcia completely out, there's nothing that can really be said about it. There's nothing that can be said about it. And Barcia is the only guy that I would say that about, that is out there right now. He's the only guy that if you went out there, no matter who it was, and just, you know, took Barcia, punted Barcia off the track, I wouldn't have any I wouldn't even be able to say anything about it, just because of everything that Barcia has done throughout his career. But that just is what it is, man. I'm all good with Rubbings Racing, but you better not be complaining about it when you're the one that dishes out the most of it. That's all I'm saying.